take advantage of that. At least we have more refineries and other refineries that are not working too. So if this can actually be converted, and that's why we talk about advanced countries. When you have people that are very intelligent, that are experts, that have innovations, different expertise, it will be converted by the federal to make sure it profits the nation. So instead of doing it legally, it's legal, so that at least Nigerians can benefit from it. So if the refineries are something that can be converted, we need a refinery that Nigerians can benefit from. Why not? Let it never be illegal. The license should be given legally, and the operation should be legal, because if it is illegal, it's against the laws. So what's doing is what's doing well. Higher price skillful telecom sector is still on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Another one says that Chad holds election after 3-year military rule. Chad holds election 3 years after military rule, returning back to democracy. That's a good one. Then this one says flight destruction, that's the kicker. Sunset Airport's operations extended to 10 p.m. Sunset Airport's operations extended to 10 p.m. and that's the size. A lot happened over the festive period. So many things happened. Well, my guest is Okafor Ikena, public affairs analyst, is popularly known as Oga HR, and he will be joining me for the newspaper analysis. It's good to have you on newspaper review this morning.
Morning. It's good to be here too. How are you doing today, Ramsey?
All right. From the very first newspaper, which of the headlines will you want to react to?
I didn't get you clearly.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can get you. Go on.
All right. The Daily Trust newspaper have some very big stories, and this one says more knock for Niger military ruler, I beg your pardon. Then there is this one that says army destroys 20 illegal refineries, recover 90,000 liters of fuel. And I was saying it's a thing of concern. If this thing is done illegally, can it be converted to be done legally, or is there anything the federal government can do? Because we really need the fuel. How are they doing it? Is there any way it can be made legal? Or what's your thoughts?
Luckily I schooled in Delta State, and this is where we have the height of one of the places where we have the height of this. First things first, the question is, why has it persisted? Why has it continued over the years? Why hasn't it been able to stop this illegal refinery thing? Look, if we don't take it from the grassroots, we will not get there. Who are the people? Are they trying to tell us that the presidents are not giving us who are people sponsoring this? With the local police, the local military, and the people who are being caught. Are they the only people? Are there not other people who we can get? So this thing is a big industry. It's a big industry. It's just a surface value they are telling us, as far as I'm concerned. But however, our past president, Vice President Sibanjo, tried to do something some time ago about it. It was short-lived. He was trying to bring those guys on board and see how he can make them, how we can formalize them. That is a way to go in a country where we are always having queue of fuel or having high prices. The market should be made open for both those who are the underdogs that meet the criteria. Criteria should be set, and see how it can be done. Okay, because you see, we are driving the oil and gas sector to have a monopolistic approach, and that's a problem. That's a very big problem. So if we have modular refineries or very small refineries that can give us at least maybe 100,000 liters of fuel every day, it's something to us. It saves us stress. But I think the security agencies need to do more. All right, the government needs to do more on this. Thank you.
Oh, all right. There is this other headline still on the Daily Trust newspaper where it says to the left-hand side, how tears from Abuja demolitions blood Wike's effort in 2024. The Minister of FCT, has been doing some demolitions and people have been crying. And apart from that, the Minister of FCT have also done a lot of things in the FCT. You can look at the roads, you can look at all the things that he has done. But then there is this headline that says, how tears from Abuja demolitions blood with his effort in 2024. What would you have to say about the demolitions that's ongoing in the FCT?
Some of these demolitions are people who just deliberately want to embrace and to say. Some people have deliberately embraced demolition because somebody was telling me last week that it was of land and he's quickly trying to build on it before, even if it's next 5 or 10 years before they demolish it. So he is aware that it is to be demolished. So some of them are intentionally putting themselves at arm's way. We must give it to Wike. Wike is working. No need for someone who works, even though sometimes, but Wike works, all right? And he can't be a minister of FCT. I do say this in a very humorous way. I can't be a minister of FCT without demolition. Because people keep building, people keep erecting things at places that is clearly, people without seeing any master plan or any plan at all, you tell them that this building or this structure is supposed to be here. So people are putting themselves in harm's way. And when you do that, you should expect a back from the government. Even if that place will not be developed in the next 100 years, the fact remains it is not a place to be for residential area or it's not a place to be built. Okay, the countries that we go to there and snap pictures and all this, those places that we snap, some of them are not houses that we snap. Most places we go for tourism, but not actually for tourism. The government have mapped out the place, so we should respect that a lot. We should keep that, and not begin to build. In fact, some of those buildings have narrowed the expressway. They have narrowed the way that they have traffic in some places. So, look, if you want to be health minister or you want to go into the infrastructure development, you must take a bold step. You will take away emotions at a point in time and do the right thing. The only thing we should ask is that those who have gotten the property in the right way, or if the government is actually doing a revocation, are they following the process? Are they notifying the people? Are they paying compensation that is equivalent? Are they giving them another settlement? I also pity the residents of Abuja because they relocated to so many places. So I think this should also be looked into because very soon we might begin to experience engine and settlers problem also in Abuja.
Alright, let's get to the next point of call now, which is the Nigerian News Direct. On the Nigerian News Direct this morning, we have other headlines. The first one says NDLEA seizes 1,960 kilogram of cannabis at Lagos Beach, arrest 6 foreigners. Most of the times, you see foreigners doing these things more than even people that are Nigerians. The details of that is on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. The reason says that customs to bring smiles to Nigerians as it auctions PMS for 400 naira per litre. Publish your assets. Encourage Shetima ministers, governors' orders to do same. Sarah tells Tinubu. Infrastructure deficit, vandalism mar Nigeria's past sector growth in 2024. Now to the star story of the Nigerian News Direct. No scarcity in festive season proves full regulation. Deregulation is benefiting Nigerians. Lokobiri is the one saying that. I actually talked about this. I didn't even know it was on the papers before we got started. We I was talking about the fact that this period, this festive period, there was no fuel scarcity like we used to have in the past. Even though the price was on the rise, it was high. Despite the little reduction, there was a reduction in price, and we had product all through, and people were able to travel. What does that mean to you?
It's a pity that our country has gotten to the extent that when we see when there is no fuel, when there is no queue, or when there is supply of fuel during festive period, it becomes a thing of someone should use as a campaign. For me, it's not a campaign. It shouldn't be anything close to campaign. It should be anybody that uses the campaign should be ashamed of him or herself, because we are, the last time I checked, maybe we dropped, maybe we are around 6-7 operating countries of the world. Okay, we have it in abundance. Abundance. Unfortunately, we are relying on an independently owned and private owned refinery to supply us with fuel. All our refineries are not working. There's a flag off at Port Harcourt, and all of those things. See that we don't have queue during Christmas or New Year's season. Not that it's for me to take a development. What if that has happened? The failure on the part of government not put things in place. The failure in part of government. It's not development. Why haven't we corrected all those in the past? For over 30 years, we've been having the same turning around the table. When I see that, I really don't buy that because we are paying for it. It's not like going to a fuel station, get fuel and come out. No. And look at the other headline of custom selling auctioning fuel. What's that? Who gets it? Is it me that will get it? It's still those people that will still monopolize it, and that's what's happening. I'm even sure I've worked in the oil and gas before, and in those days we thought that it's not as open as we think. It's not open as we think. Okay, there are companies even with your money that you can enter if you are not connected to somebody in power. And that was why one of the bourgeoisies came out to wash out their destiny at the time on how this person was influencing his business, so in the food industry, and how he also had connection to the government house. It is very typical in the oil and gas sector. This oil and gas sector problem we are having is man-made. It's not something that is out of control. It's not something that is too big. It's not something that cannot be done. It's something that is intentionally being controlled, being engineered, being remoted, so that people can keep getting more money in their pockets. It's capitalist driven in nature. So for me, it's not a win. It's just we looking at things that we shouldn't pay attention to, things that we should. It's a distraction. The distraction. It's something that we should have on a very good day. So for me, it's not a win.
All right. Let's look at some headlines from the Nigerian newspaper. Where this one says the 2024 as the Kinka. Despite macroeconomic challenges, Nigeria demonstrated resilience with GDP growth to 3.6%. This is coming from CPPE, and it is that you can always find on page 4. Then this one says, my battle axes are newly sharpened. I am ready for war. Daily Varosimi DS after Babalola. Well, I saw one of the headlines, I think on social media, where he was saying, they said he was in tears, saying Nigerians spoke on his behalf, and now it's coming out that his battle axe is really sharpened, that he's ready for war. Details of that you can get on page 2 of the Nigerian news. Right, moving away from there, let's get to our next point of call, which is the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian newspaper this morning, I will get started with the big story. That's the star story on the Guardian newspaper this morning. What's the star story? The big story there says that states spend more than earned to further rely on FAAC income. Details on states. That's one of the problems that we have at the state level. States spend more than they earn to further rely on FAAC income. That's for the states. Well, spending more, all right? rely than you earn. Even an individual wouldn't give that. So why will a state do that? Ikena, do you get that? That states spend more than you earn, alright, to further rely on FAAC income. That's the allocation coming. Is that a good one?
Obviously not. Obviously not. For me, that is the hypocrisy in government, where government tells us to tighten our belt, to reduce our spending, but they are spending more than they are getting. It's a problem. See, we'll keep having this problem until states begin to generate and control their own revenue. Okay, they are just like babies that every month they run to the Federal Capital Territory to get the milk from the mommy. If we don't have control over this, if we don't stop this way we are going about it, we'll keep having this challenge every now and then. How can you tell me that somebody is making 50,000 naira and the person is spending 100,000 naira? Where is he getting that from? Where is he getting that from? It's getting from a state that was able to think out of the box. A state that was able to think out of the box to raise that kind of money. Okay, so we have states that are, just about the weekend I'm having that conversation with somebody, we have states that are potentially rich. Let's take Kwara for instance, it's a tourist area. Let's take Taraba, the tourist area, Yankari and other places. How much do this place generate? How much do this state generate? And how much do this tourist site attract that can attract millions of dollars bring to their state revenue? I've been to places like Kwara, that's why I'm laying emphasis to it. A place like one of the places that they have, like the waterfall, it's not motorable. It's not motorable. So how do you expect tourists to go there? It's scary even going there because of this security problem. So these are part of what we are talking about, that you can't just be hand-fed, and that's what the state government and governors have just sit and do. Many of them, especially some states, who have thought out of the box, who have set their state on autopilot, who have plans for the next 20 years, and also something that is also affecting us is political affiliation. So even if somebody from Ikena's party come in and set the ball rolling, and this is a very good plan that can take the state for 20 years, somebody from Ramsey's party will be like, oh, because it's not my party, the person puts on reset and we go all again. So states should begin to, if we don't stop this federal allocation, if we don't stop it, we'll keep having this. And the painful part of it is that you don't see this development at the bottom line. You don't see. At the end of the day, they finish their office and EFC start chasing them around with money that they never took from their brain house, with money that is not theirs. With it is very painful and annoying, and I'm very passionate about this because I know that I can't make that kind of thing. Like, it's not logical, it's not reasonable in any way to look at it, that I'm spending more than I earn. It's not done.
All right. Well, let's get to more headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning. This one says many federal roads in poor condition at U-Tide despite Omahi's pledges. When Omahi came into office, he came with a lot of pledges. Details on page 5. Lagos churches, mosque, nightclubs to get noise permit. Details on page 7. 2027, that's the kicker. Alia Akume rift may harm APC's chances. North Central Forum is warning. Atiku faults full military honors accorded Tinubu's son. Alright, Atiku faults full military honors accorded Tinubu's son. Serap attacks Tinubu on assets declaration in presidency and National Assembly. Then finally, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, Naira, that's the kicker. Between CBN's regulatory push back and thriving meat market. That's the much we'll be taking from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And our next point of call will be the Daily Times. On the Daily Times newspaper this morning, I have this one above the nameplate which says pledge to security, improving but not perfect yet. This is coming from Mufwang. That's as the governor. I think it's so good. Anything that any state in this country can be proud of right now is security. If your security is doing well, if your security in your state, then you are doing well. Look at Benue State. Look at what has been happening lately. Not just Benue State, in other parts of Nigeria too. Well, the security situation in the country is not something that anyone is not aware of. It's not in news anymore. People are even getting used to it, but then it's so good that in some of the papers and on the internet we heard that the military is doing so much, a lot of tackling on the terrorists, the bandits, and of course the kidnappers. That's a good one. Congratulations to Plateau State. Now to the big story on the Daily Times newspaper. African fashion industry worth 30 billion naira, says Handiskin CEO. Alright, then more headlines are still coming from there. CEOs engaging FCT women as first secretaries address barriers hindering justice for GBV's leaders. 2025 will mark turning point for security situation in Southeast. Umahi is assuring this. Details of that you can get on page 10. The reason says PDP grieves over mistaken airstrike in Sokoto in Southeast. There have been a lot of apologies coming from the military concerning that. And one thing is that this is not the first time it's happening. And because of these operations, life has been lost. And all this boils down to an attempt, to tackle insecurity in the country. Vision says IEA projects renewable energy for exponential growth in 2025. If there's anything that the Nigerians are clamoring for, is energy. And finally, from the Daily Times newspaper, Vision says I will overcome battle with Wike. This is Governor Fubara. Fubara said he will overcome the battle with Wike. And a lot of people are saying so many things, especially what is happening in Rivers State. It took Fubara a long time to actually start governance as a governor of Rivers State, and he was thanking the people of Rivers State for their support. I think that was a few days ago. Ikenna, I don't know if you want to react to any of these headlines, especially the one of Rivers State. Anyone at all, you can react to before we get to the next paper.
I would take that of River State, and it's a pity how things are going. And I think BK needs to be called to order. Why I say needs to be called to order is that it is tenure. We have Peter Odili, they are alive today. We have Rutmi and Bechi. These are the very strong people in the River State, and so many of them, the other guy, they are all there, and nobody is acquired in the state. In fact, he was always running to, we saw several times that he ran to Odili before he became governor and put at his first tenure. All of a sudden, just at the end of his first tenure and inside the second, he became the Lord of River State and had no regards even for age and anything for anybody. That is a pity, and he wants to the kind of policy that we are saying that we are trying to erode from Nigeria. Godfatherism is trying to institute that. It's not accepted. It's not acceptable. And I pity the people of River State because they are the one at the receiving end. But you see, the people in River State are actually getting what they deserve. I say because these people finding the ember of Wike, these people still finding the ember of Bar. Look, I'm not supporting any of them, but my point is that we have to look politicize all this that is happening at the moment, and they should focus on development and growth of River State. River State is one of the states that we all as Nigerians hold to our chest and to our heart because of the revenue and the state of history. So I don't know what is actually wrong. The people of River State, why they have not, elder statesmen have not come out to call these people to order and see how things can be better for all of them.
Alright, let's get to the last paper now before we call it a wrap and wait for the AM news to come up at the top of the hour. From the Nation's newspaper this morning, above the nameplate, NCC rules out telecoms tariff hike in January. Okay, that's the good news for all Nigerians. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter dies at 100. Wow, Jimmy Carter is dead at 100. Once we say rest in perfect peace, and our condolence go to the people of United States, including the President-elect Donald Trump. Then this one says, House Trump gets staff of office as Owa Odoborom of Ijesha land. INEC not set to fill vacant parliamentary seat. Details of this you can get on page 29 and 6 respectively. Now to the big story on the Nation's newspaper this morning. Direct payment of allocation to councils begin next month. A lot of people have actually waited for this, and some riders to that story. All obstacles cleared. The second rider says Lagos to hold election into 20 councils, 37 local government development areas. That's going to be next year. Another headline on the Nation's newspaper this morning. 2 plane crashes in one day claimed 180 lives. Just to write us to that story, Nigeria condoled with South Korea over 179 deaths. Then the second writer says weather causes destruction of flight at UK airports. Then I think the last one says defend headquarters. That's the kicker. Troops arrested 2 suspected terrorist logistic suppliers, 256 orders in 1 week. I told you earlier that the security operatives are doing so much, and they've actually tried their best. All right, in just 1 minute, can you react to any of these headlines, Ikena?
First of all, Jimmy Carter dying in my own time, I think it's interesting because I'm a student of history. I study history and international studies, and I read so much about his reforms. So it's a big loss to the world. He's a very strong diplomat. He thinks out of the box. In fact, we had a colleague who called him Jimmy Carter because of the way he behaves. So it's a big loss to not just the US but to the whole world. Okay, and well, for the airlines getting the crashes, it's quite also a pity. May they so rest in peace. I also pity the people of the families that were affected. That's a lot to bear. And but I think our own country, as Nigeria, which I'm a patriot, needs to also begin to look at all these mistakes and work on it. We've had several air crashes too in Nigeria that till today we're yet to get a finalized and conclusive report on that. So while we also look at the international space on some of this news, we also bring it down. Do we even have a Jimmy Carter of Nigeria today? Do we have somebody like that today?
All right, I'm afraid our time is up, Ikena. Well, that's a very wonderful analysis. A very big thank you to you. I wish we had time to continue this conversation, but then this is where the analysis really ending because of the AM news that is coming at the top of the hour. Thank you for joining us for the newspaper review for this morning, Ikena.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anytime. Thank you.
All right. It's time for us to go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return, and it will be time for the AM news. After the AM news, Global Morning will return for the first conversation on the program today, and we have something very vital to talk about. What do you think of the judiciary in 2024? You have any question on your mind? Don't worry. When we return, that question might be answered as I'm going to be joined by an expert, a legal practitioner, as we look at the activities of the judiciary in 2024. And that will be after this break. Stay with us. Hello, welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global AM News coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodio. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on MyConsult. The Nigerian Customs Service says it will auction 15,325 liters of seized premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, to ease transportation during the festive period. National Coordinator of the Service's Operation Railroad, Hussein Ejibundu, made the announcement at a press briefing in Lagos State. Ejibundu said the product valued at 27.5 million naira was seized during operations in Lagos and Ogun states, noting that the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, has directed that the product be auctioned at the rate of 10,000 naira per liter, per 25 liters. The coordinator further said a court condemnation order and all illegal processes have been finalized by the Office of the Legal Advisor to aid the auctioning process. President Bola Tinubu has commended the Guards Brigade of the Nigerian Army for checkmating all forms of security threats in the nation's seat of power, as well as his personal security. The president, represented by the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, gave the commendation at the Elite Guards West African Social Activities in Abuja. He said the Presidential Guard had during the year displayed exceptional commitment towards securing the seat of government, the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. The Nigerian Army's 34 Artillery Brigade, Obinze Owerri, Imo State, has celebrated its annual West African Social Activities, also called WASA, for 2024. The colorful event brought together dignitaries, soldiers, and community members, showcasing cultural diversity and Army's commitment to fostering peace and unity. Imo State correspondent Amarachi Ube was there for Global Television.
The event showed cultural dance, a tug-of-war competition, the symbolic lighting of the fire, all aimed at fostering unity and strengthening bonds among soldiers and the host community.
God bless you. God bless you, the team.
Representing the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, the Commissioner for Homeland Security and Vigilante, Modestus Osakwe, commended the Army for their great efforts in ensuring a peaceful Imo State. He also praised for the repose of the souls of fallen heroes who paid the ultimate price for the nation's peace.
On this note, I say a big thank you to the officers and soldiers of the brigade for their great efforts in ensuring a peaceful Imo State. As we go into the new year, I urge you all to redouble your efforts to ensure the state is free from all forms of criminality and illicit social vices. For our dearly departed personnel, may their souls rest in eternal peace.
The commander of the 34 Artillery Brigade, Brigadier General Usman Lawal, thanked his officers and soldiers for their dedication throughout 2024, highlighting the brigade's achievements during the year and their role in sustaining peace in the region.
Achievements of the brigade so far has led to the reduction of crime, particularly kidnappings, armed robbery, and activities of the secessionist group. This has been achieved mostly through deterrence and threat protection in timely manner and by the neutralization of criminal elements. Additionally, the brigade has been able to dislodge the unknown IPOP ESN from their various strongholds.
In his remarks, the representative of the General Officer Commanding 82 Division Enugu, Brigadier General Olayinka Zubairu, spoke on the importance of civil-military relationship, urging criminal elements to lay down their weapons and embrace peace.
Civil-military relations have been very, very wonderful we didn't used to have it so good in the past. As you can see, the Commissioner of Police was here, the Civil Defense representative, all other security agents, all of them have been here. My advice, the message for them is to drop their weapons, to drop their criminal activities and join up to make the country a very peaceful and progressive nation.
The event also saw the recognition of outstanding officers and individuals for their exceptional contributions. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on President Bola Tinubu to direct the Code of Conduct Bureau to publish his declared assets. SERAP also urged Tinubu to encourage Vice President Kashim Shettima, ministers, state governors, and National Assembly leaders to follow suit. This was stated in the press release shared and signed by SERAP's Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare. The organization commended the President for his recent statement during his first presidential media chat, in which he indicated that he might request the Code of Conduct Bureau to release his assets. Edo State Governor Monday Okpeholo says he will apply Senator Godswill Akpabio's developmental template in Akwa Ibom to build a new Edo. The governor's chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, stated that Okpeholo gave the remarks during a held in his honor in Ikotokpeme, Akwa Ibom State, where he acknowledged Akpabio's developmental strides in Akwa Ibom State as governor between 2007 and 2015. He stated that he would ensure the same method is used in transforming and repositioning Edo State. The governor noted that the President of the Senate not only achieved so much in terms of legislation within a short time, but has also succeeded in leading a well-coordinated legislative arm that complements and serves to appropriately check and balance the executive for the good of Nigerians. The House of Representatives is considering a bill to separate the offices of the Attorney General of the Federation from that of the Minister of Justice. Offices of the Attorney General of a state will also be separated from the Commissioner of Justice if the bill sails through. The bill is seeking alteration to Section 150 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, with the introduction of subsection 1 to read: there shall be an Attorney General of the Federation, who shall be the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, different from the person occupying the position of the Minister of Justice, to be appointed by the President, subject to the confirmation of the Senate. The African Export-Import Bank says it has intensified its push for greater empowerment opportunities for African youths, emphasizing that the continent's future and relevance in global socio-economic discussions depend on its young population. The bank's president, Benedict Orama, made the assertion at the 5th edition of the Youth Summit held in Abuja. In a statement released by the bank, it stated that the youth representative from 91 countries, government officials, development partners including the Development Bank of Africa and African Export-Import Bank, and other stakeholders participated in the summit. 6 months after the Supreme Court granted financial autonomy to local governments in the country, the implementation of the judgment has yet to take effect. On July 11, 2024, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment affirming the financial autonomy of the 774 local government areas in the country and prohibiting governors from further control of funds meant for the councils. The Apex Court had also directed the Accountant General of the Federation to pay local government allocations directly to their accounts, declaring the non-remittance of funds by the 36 states unconstitutional. However, 6 months after the judgment, financial autonomy has yet to take effect.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control says it destroyed over 120 billion worth of seized product between July and December 2024 across the 6 geopolitical zones and the Federal Capital Territory. The agency also reassured Nigerians that measures are in place to safeguard their health before, during, and after the Unitide season. This was disclosed in the Unitide message from the agency's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, as contained in a statement signed by the agency's resident media consultant, Sayo Akintola. Adeyeye emphasized the importance of eating safely during the festive period and advised Nigerians to purchase food and drinks from outlets with identifiable addresses to facilitate the agency's tracking process. The General Officer Commanding 3 Division and Commander of the Operation Safe Haven, Major General A.E. Abubakar, has officially unveiled the Maria Abiodun Lagbaja Recreational Park in Jos, Plateau State. On Saturday, a statement on the Nigerian Army's website noted that the park is named in honor of the immediate past president of the Nigerian Army's Officers' Wives Association, NAOA, Maria Lagbaja, recognizing her outstanding contributions to the welfare of officers, soldiers, and their families, particularly within the 3 division located at the Maxwell Kobe Cantonment in Jos. The park reportedly boasts an impressive array of attractions designed to enhance the quality of life for members of the barracks community. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has raised concerns about the aging pipeline infrastructure and operational inefficiencies, identifying them as key factors responsible for the decline in oil revenue during the third quarter of 2024, as a result of which it says it doubt over Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited's projection of hitting daily 2 million barrel per day oil production. The Apex Bank, in its latest economic report, disclosed that the oil revenue plunged by 24.72% to 1.30 trillion naira, compared to the 1.73 trillion naira recorded in the second quarter of the year. This figure also fell significantly short of the quarterly target of by 75.39%, largely due to frequent shutdowns caused by deteriorating pipelines and installations. The CBN report, however, warned that Nigeria's goal of achieving an oil production target of 2 million barrels per day by the end of 2024 remains on the trough unless urgent measures are taken to address infrastructure and operational challenges. Meanwhile, residents of border communities in Sokoto have dismissed allegations of the presence of the French army in the area. This comes after the head of the military junta in Niger Republic, in a recently circulated video, accused President Bola Tinubu and some members of his administration of colluding with the French army to attack Niger. Reports have, however, confirmed that the allegations were baseless. Speaking to Newsman at his palace, the traditional ruler of Bele in Gudu local government area of Sokoto State, Aminu Aliyu, denied the existence of any foreign military camp in his territory. In a related development, Niger's President Abdulrahman Tiani is reportedly facing a backlash of criticism from his fellow countrymen following his recent allegation of a conspiracy by Nigeria against the country. This comes as many Nigerian citizens reacted to the president's allegations on social media, to Jihadi saying there is no credibility whatsoever in the allegations. Some of them are of the view that the Nigerian leader was only looking for an excuse to hang on to his failure in office after 17 months of ousting his predecessor, Mohamed Bazoum, in a palace coup. Let's take a look at other stories and we'll turn to Delta State, where traditional ruler of Washoku Kingdom, Obi Ifechukwude Okonjo, has called on communities to respect court judgment concerning disputed lands. The monarch made this statement signed by the Palace Secretary Prince Ifeanyi MOD and made available to journalists in Asaba, the Delta State capital. The youths from Obulu Okiti community in Anyacha South local government area of the state had staged a protest alleging land grabbing. The youth president of Obulu Okiti, Ifechukwude Nwabuebu, claimed that Ogwashuku Kingdom had unlawfully taken community land. You're watching Global AM News coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, where Global AM News returns. Trump sides with tech bosses in MAGA fight with immigrant visas. We will follow the money for you as well as bring you foreign and sports stories right after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Authorities in the aviation sector have completed plans to establish mobile codes at airports to try unwilling passengers. It had earlier been reported that some passengers protesting against flight delays or cancellations sometimes resort to physical attack on airline and airport workers or disrupt facilities at the airports. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority have frowned at the attitude. Similarly, as part of measures to address incidents of flight disruptions, especially at airports without 24-hour operation, authorities have agreed to extend airport operational hours to 10 p.m. at Sunset Airport. In business, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has insisted and stated that the increasing incidence of vandalism targeting critical power transmission equipment hindered the achievement of the ambitious goal to generate 6,000 megawatts of electricity by December 2024. He explained that the government had implemented measures to reach the milestone and was on track until multiple incidents of vandalism to electricity towers disrupted the plan. The Special Advisor on Strategic Communication and Media Relations, Bolaji Tunji, revealed this when asked about the reasons behind the failed projections. Nigeria's power generation currently ranges between 4,000 and 4,900 megawatts from 19 power generation plants, serving a population of approximately 200 million people. Fitch Ratings, an international credit rating agency, says Nigeria must stay through with its 13 trillion naira budget deficit, as the larger deficit may further depreciate the naira, stoke inflation, and result in prolonged tightening cycle. Fitch, an assessment of the country, stated that while the nation's credit profile has increased due to the various reforms introduced by the government last year, challenges persist, especially from the fiscal authorities. It noted that though the government's recent 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework set out plans to narrow the budget deficit more sharply than being expected, assumptions of oil prices and production were more optimistic than Fitch's. A financial analyst, Charles Iyole, says excessive reliance on cash settlement in Nigeria's economy is a significant driver of high core inflation. The challenges posed by cash-based transactions and inefficiencies at both federal and state levels. Iyole pinpointed excessive cash transactions as a major contributor to Nigeria's inflation woes, emphasizing the disconnect between monetary policy and real economic activities. Senior members of Canada's cabinet held talks with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's nominees to lead the Department of Commerce and the Interior as Ottawa works to hold off the threat of publishing tariffs. Canada's newly appointed Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Foreign Minister Marlene Joly met with Howard Lake and Trump's Common Secretary nominee, who will also lead the country's tariff and trade agenda. Interior Secretary nominee Doug Burgum was also at the meeting held at the Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. On the foreign scene, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump expressed his support for the H-1B visa program, aligning with Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. In a public dispute over skilled immigrant workers, the statement marked a significant shift in tone from Trump's previous stance on the issue, as he had moved to limit the visas used during his first presidency. Trump reportedly reaffirmed his belief in the value of the program, describing it as a great program that he had utilized extensively in his own businesses. Several people have been killed following a passenger jet crash landed at an airport in southwestern South Korea, with the aircraft carrying down the runway on its belly before bursting into flames. At least 122 people have been confirmed dead so far. According to the local fire department, 2 people, both crew members, were pulled alive from the crash site. However, rescuers have warned there is little hope of finding further survivors. It is the deadliest aviation disaster to hit South Korea since 1987, when a Korean Airlines Boeing 747 crashed in the Guam jungle, with the loss of 228 lives. Footage of the crash, broadcast by multiple South Korean news outlets, showed the plane sliding on its belly at high speed, hitting an eastern embankment and eruption in a fireball. Authorities have said that the death toll after a bridge collapse in northern Brazil has increased to 10. The U.S. Slido Kubitschek, the Oliveira Bridge, which connects the states of Maranhão and Tocantins, collapsed on Sunday, sending vehicles and the occupants plunging into the water below. The Brazilian Navy had been conducting rescues in the area, finding an additional body 6 kilometers, 3.7 miles from the accident site, and the second victim in the Tocantins River. More than 70 rescuers continued the search nearly a week after the collapse, using a hyperbaric chamber to allow divers to search depths of more than 30 meters, 100 feet. In sports, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola is maintaining his composure despite the team's challenging run of results, insisting his side will turn things around. City were held to 100 by Everton on Boxing Day at the Etihad, despite dominating much of the game. In the wake of just one win from their 13 matches, Guardiola remains defiant, saying Manchester City will bounce back. No rest for the weary as match day 18 fades into memory. Match day 19 is here to steal the spotlight. Boxing Day delivered its share of drama, with Chelsea and Manchester United suffering defeats and Man City managing only a draw. However, the fixtures that followed left much to be desired. Now, with the new year fast approaching, the stage is set for high-stakes battles at both ends of the Premier League table. From title races to relegation dogfights, this round of matches could significantly reshape the Premier League standings. Let's dive into some of what promises to be an exciting weekend of football. Trent Alexander-Arnold is reportedly inching closer to Bernabeu as the Liverpool right back continues to ignore contract offers to push a move to Real Madrid. The defender has been at the Reds since 2004, breaking into the first team in 2016 and quickly becoming a fan favorite with his pinpoint crosses and dangerous set pieces. Since then, Alexander Arnold has won the North, lifting the Champions League trophy in 2019 and the Premier League title a year later, as well as picking up an FA Cup and 2 League Cups. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Global AM News. I am Anthony Momodu. Good morning.